Before I even say anything about anything, the last 4 cards that I put out, we have hit at a 75% hit rate. I know I took the last 2 cards off. I took a little break, you feel what I'm saying? And this card's very important. We got the pound for pound #1 fighter in the whole entire UFC, Islam Makhachev versus Ian Gary. This is going to be a hell of a card. I know a lot of people are saying the card's whack in general, like the prelims are whack. I don't think the prelims are that whack. If you look at the finish rates of a lot of these fighters are like over the 70% finish rate, over the 80% finish rate. I'm assuming that there's going to be a lot of submissions in this on this card. 2 things I wanted to mention. I changed my name from Sammy Wins Bets to the UFC Teller. And 2, we have been going absolutely fucking stupid. 75% hit rate. 70, that's not easy to do. These are grown men fighting in a locked cage. You feel what I'm saying? And on top of that, you know I'm not taking anyone else's bets. Because if you look back a few cards ago, I'm one of the only channels on YouTube that picked Brandon Royval confidently to beat Loner Kavanaugh. You feel what I'm saying? But that's a few cards ago. We could talk about UFC Abu Dhabi. I almost swept that whole entire card, and I called basically every single prop on that card. We've been going absolutely fucking stupid. Absolutely fucking stupid. And I'm looking to keep this shit going out. So let's get right into the first fight of the night. To start the card off, we got absolute disrespect to the most prehistoric human we have ever seen in our fucking life. And not only that, my tech orolbai is a fucking savage. It's not like he's a boring fighter. I understand he held down Chris Curtis to a decision his last fight. Absolutely dominated him, by the way. Absolutely dominated him. Chris Curtis only landed 12 significant strikes. Okay? And then not just this, there's so much more that I need to talk about with orolbai, right? I don't know if you guys knew. He made his UFC debut against Uros Medic and subbed him in round 1. And Uros Medic is in a UFC main event? And orolbai's opening up cards? What the fuck is this? What is this? Like, guys, orolbai's on a 3-fight win streak, right? He's 5-1 in the UFC. His only loss is to Rebecca in a split decision. Split, meaning it could have went either way. So he could really be 6-0 in the UFC, right? He just beat Chris Curtis. He subbed Tafik Musayev, the guy that just knocked out Klein, the guy that just knocked out Ludovic Klein. Like, his wins are actually getting a lot better in hindsight. You feel what I'm saying? And his last fight, he landed 19 takedowns on Chris Curtis, who is a veteran of the sport. This is not Jeremiah Wells. Jeremiah's coming off a win, okay? He's a nice, solid, big guy. He beat Temba in a decision. But come on, he lost to Carlson Harris in the 3rd round by sub. He got taken down 6 times in his last fight to Temba. That's all you really need to see. Like, I understand orolbai's a negative 1,000 in this fight. He's going to win this fight. There's like no way he's not going to win this fight. He has dog. He has wrestling. He has knockout power. He has everything that you need to be like an overall dangerous fighter. You feel what I'm saying? You can say, oh, you can stand and bang with him. Go ahead and do that. You're going to get taken down. Oh, you might have submission threat. Who has a better submission threat? Who's going to outpace this guy? Who's going to out-wrestle this guy? Rebecca? Bro, orolbai took the soul out of Rebecca. Rebecca hasn't been the same since then. Rebecca has not been the same since then. Like, I understand Rebecca's a fucking dog, but orolbai is a dog. He is a prehistoric dog, human figure of the fucking cavemen of cavemen. Give me orolbai to win this fight by dominating a decision or finding a sub quite easily. Because I understand, like this is the thing that kind of pisses me off with the fight. 1, obviously orolbai's opening the card, but 2, I don't really like the odds either. Like, I understand orolbai's 100% he should win this fight. But Jeremiah Wells, he is 5-2 in the UFC. He's a solid guy, and he's not like a weak guy. You feel what I'm saying? So orolbai's going to have to work for some takedowns here, but he's going to get them no matter what. And on the feet, I do rate orolbai better still. That knockout against Jack Hermanson in round 1, he's going to war with Rebecca. Like, I think the pick definitely has to be orolbai with the dominant wrestling, overall well-rounded striking. His wins are better. He's fought better level of competition. This is a step down from Chris Curtis, in my opinion. You go from fighting Chris Curtis, who was actually ranked a known fighter, a well-established fighter, to fighting Jeremiah Wells, opening the card. I'm done talking about this fight. I've said enough. All right, next up on the card, we got Rafael Tobias versus Lucas Fernando. In this fight, I'm going to be picking Lucas Fernando. When I look at Rafael Tobias' tape, I'm very unimpressed. He's super slow on the flank. Let me start with all the shit that he's good at. Rafael Tobias, he's 14-2. He just had made his UFC debut against that Dyer Narugarai guy. I don't know how to say his last name. You guys know him. The guy that got subbed to Brenton fucking Ribeiro. Okay? That guy. He got subbed to Brenton Ribeiro. I know he turned it around, sent a little 2-fight win streak to Bruno Lopes and shit. That guy sucks. He's not good. And Tobias Harris lost to him and got taken down. I said Tobias Harris. Yo.
Dude,
And
like,
Rafael Tobias only landed 52 total strikes, only landed 2 takedowns out of 8. He's just... And then I look back at his tape, I'm like, all right, maybe I can find some, like, good aspects of his game, because losing to Dyer Naruguro, whatever the fuck his name is, that's not a good look. So I was trying to look for anything that was showing me some good shit, right? And I'm looking back at his tape. He's super slow with his punches, and he can get backed up quite easily. And his chin's there to be hit, and he backs up, and he's, like, all the way back up to the cage, and he's very patient. And I don't think this is the style of matchup where you can beat someone like Lucas Fernando. I'm looking at Lucas, on the other hand, right? First of all, he's fought the way better level of competition. He's fought Asmat Bukayev, which he's lost to. And someone else, I'm forgetting the name of him. But someone else, Cesar Almeida. And I don't think those two are the best UFC fighters, you know what I mean? Cesar Almeida has huge holes in the grappling. So, but Lucas Fernando's the better fighter. He's a lot faster. He's a lot rangier. He's taller. He's bigger. He's more athletic. He sticks out the jabs. He's quicker. He has good takedown defense. He comes forward with more intent. When I'm looking at Rafael Tobias, it's like the only way he can win this fight is by, like, either smothering Lucas Fernando against the cage, because I've seen people have a little bit of success with that, but ultimately they end up getting knocked out or get pieced up. Or maybe he can end up subbing Lucas Fernando, because Tobias is still a dangerous guy when he gets the fight to the ground. On the feet, he's super slow, and I just don't like to see that. I don't think he's going to be able to set up takedowns or get high-level takedowns with his striking. His striking is just not good. I'm looking at the striking, and I'm looking at Lucas Fernando's striking, and I'm comparing them, and they're, like, on 2 different levels. Lucas is longer, faster, more athletic, puts shit together way better. He has stepping needs up the body. Like, this is just a Lucas Fernando fight all day. And like I said, the only way Rafael's winning this fight is if he finds takedowns or smushes him against the cage for 3 rounds straight. And I don't think he's doing that. I just don't think he's doing that with a more athletic guy with better striking. It would be a different thing if Tobias was more on the front foot and, like, getting after people and, like, actually wanting to go get people. I'm looking at his tape. He's not going to get people. He's on the back foot, and then he'll get, like, a body lock if you, like, overcommit, take you down, or some stupid shit like that. But Lucas, it would be a different story if he threw anything except fucking straights. He throws straights, jabs, crosses, jabs, crosses, jab, crosses, jab. But he's so long and powerful that they're powerful. He doesn't really need to throw hooks and overextend on these wild hooks to get taken down. And that's another reason why I'm saying styles make matchups. I like his striking, especially in this fight. And I'm almost forgetting to mention that his best weapon are his leg kicks. He has devastating leg kicks. It's not just the 1-2s down the middle with the straights. He's finished multiple people with nasty low kicks. So if Rafael Tobias is going to be running and sitting back, you're going to get pieced up, whether it's to the legs, to the body, to the head. And once you start coming for them takedowns, you're going to be running into knees up the middle, straight down the pipe. It's going to be a tough matchup, in my opinion. I like the way he strikes. A lot of things straight down the pipe. It's hard to get under straight down and knees up the middle. It's hard to, how you gonna get under that? Usually it's easier to get under guys that are overcommitting on hooks and throwing overhands. You get under those. He's not going to be able to get under Lucas Fernando that easy for takedowns. So styles make matchups. I'm picking Lucas Fernando to get this done. I want to say KO. I'm going to say Lucas Fernando by KO. And if Tobias wins, it's going to be by sub. But yeah, give me Lucas Fernando by KO here. Or maybe decision. He could probably just walk to a decision. Not walk. I feel like Tobias, he will put Fernando on the cage, like I'm saying. Because if I see the game plan, like I'm watching tape and I'm like, yeah, like that's where people have the most success is when they put him against the cage and they start working from there. If I'm seeing it, I'm sure a UFC fighter can see it as well, right? So I'm sure Tobias is trying to get this fight on the cage and work from there. If not, he's going to get pieced apart. He's going to get picked apart. So give me Lucas to win this fight. All right, next up on the card, we got veteran Neil Magny versus Ramiz Brahimaj. If you've been part of this channel and you've been keeping up with the bets, you've been making money with my bets, you guys know who Ramiz Brahimaj is. He lost his last fight, unfortunately, whatever, against Soriano, who was a big, aggressive, durable guy. You feel what I'm saying? But before that, he was on a 3-fight win streak. He had subbed Austin Vanderford, and he was an underdog that fight. He subbed Billy Goff in round 1, and he knocked out Mickey Gall. None of those wins are really that impressive, which is why I'm going to start talking about Neil Magny now, because his wins are a lot more impressive. He's beat Jake Matthews, Aleski Dos Santos, Mike Malott, Phil Rowe, Daniel Rodriguez, Max Griffin, Jeff Neal. Who the fuck has Ramiz beat? You know what I mean? His best win is probably what? Billy Goff? Mickey Gall? Well, Mickey Gall as far as experience goes then, right? His best win is Mickey Gall. So, obviously you guys probably think I'm going to pick Neil Magny, right? And I feel like I'm going against myself because I usually tell you guys experience and fighting competition is everything. But what's the very next thing I tell you guys right after that? Age and youth. So, I got two of my best aspects in betting going against each other right now. You feel what I'm saying? The two biggest things that I look at who these guys have fought, and I look at how old, like the youth. How are these guys going to clash up? Who's more durable? Who's the more athletic guy? And Ramiz is the more durable, more athletic, more dangerous guy. It's that simple. I know the experience is not there. And you guys can say Neil Magny has only lost to the best of the best fighters in the division. He's only lost to Yaroslav Amosov, who is a beast. That guy is a fucking beast. He just subbed Joel Alvarez, okay? Carlos Prates, Michael Morales, Ian Gary, Gilbert Burns, Shavkat Rakhmonov. Like, those are the highest level of competition. So that's what I'm saying. I feel like I'm going against myself because everything is saying Neil Magny. He has an 8-inch reach advantage. He has the experience advantage. He's 24-13 in the UFC. That's double the fights that Ramiz has in general, just in the UFC. You feel what I'm saying? But the only thing is, he's 39 years old and he has a 45% finish rate. And who does he really hurt? When Neil Magny usually gets wins, it's opponents gassing out. They can't keep up with his cardio. They can't get the job done. They end up going into deep water and they can't swim with Neil Magny. You feel what I'm saying? He takes them into deep water where the vets go. Now, you're not supposed to be out there. You feel what I'm saying? That's where people end up crumbling to Neil Magny. But he's not dangerous. He's not dangerous. Ramiz Brahimaj is by far the more dangerous guy. 12 submissions, 100% finish rate. And where does Neil Magny usually shine when he does take these fights to deep water? In the grappling. I feel like his best aspect is controlling people, grappling, taking them down. And that's where Ramiz is the most dangerous. So I understand that Ramiz Brahimaj is nowhere near on the level of competition. And he honestly doesn't even have a win for me to justify this pick. Styles make matchups, guys. Styles make matchups. And you can't just keep saying, oh, he only loses to the best. And, okay. But where he's the best is where Ramiz is the most dangerous. Like, I'm cheesing about this shit. Because this is just a good-ass fight. This is really just a good-ass fight. It got me cheesing. That's crazy. So, this is how I look at it, right? Ramiz Brahimaj has like a round and a half to get Neil Magny out of there. Because Neil Magny has far better cardio, the reach advantage, you know what I mean, the experience. The more the fight goes, it's just going to favor Neil Magny. But one of the biggest things is Neil Magny has been subbed 5 times in his career. And 4 of them are in the first round. 4. Styles make matchups. Where is Ramiz Brahimaj the most dangerous? In round 1. Doing what? Subbing people. Where did he catch Billy Goff? On a guillotine. Caught him. Tried to shoot a takedown. Austin Vanderford. He survived all the pressure Austin Vanderford had and subbed him in round 2. Mickey Gall cracked him over the top. And that is a longer, rangier dude that's kind of older, just like Neil Magny. That's why I'm thinking, like, there's kind of a few ways that he can win. And it's not only that. Ramiz Brahimaj is a dog. He is a dog. The only time he's ever been knocked out, it says 1-1 for KOs, right? His ear was falling off against Max Griffin in his UFC debut. And he was still fighting. The ref had to stop the fight. His ear was falling off. Like, it was all the way down here, hanging on by like a string. And he's still fighting. So that's not a real KO. He's never been KO'd. He's never been finished. He's never been subbed. He is a durable dog, and he's here to fight. And styles make matchups. I've been saying it. Give me Ramiz Brahimaj to win this fight by round 1 submission. And if not, then you go ahead and live bet Neil Magny. I'd probably wait like 2 minutes into the second, a minute into the second. But after that, Neil Magny will take over. Am I the only one that can see Neil Magny subbing Ramiz Brahimaj late? Round 3. Am I tripping? Oh, and not only that, I know I said he's been subbed 5 times. Jake Matthews should have subbed him. You got to remember, Jake Matthews subbed him, and the ref restarted the fight. Jake Matthews has an adrenaline dump. After thinking he won the fight, he's celebrating. The adrenaline's pumped down now. He lost it all. The fight restarts, and Neil Magny ends up winning by sub. So that's another time he should have been subbed, and that was 2 fights ago, right before his last fight. So he should have been on a 2-fight losing streak by sub. Just saying. On to the next fight. Next up on the card, we got Vicente Luque versus Tresean Gore. Leading up to this fight, the whole entire weekend, I've been in absolute shock to see what the public opinion is on this fight and to see how you guys are looking at this fight. Because when I'm looking at this fight, I think Vicente Luque should be the pick, and I think he should be the favorite, but he's not. He's the underdog. And that's just mind-blowing to me because Tresean Gore, his best win is Akhmat Bukoyev. Okay, I understand it was his last fight. He was a plus 475, big underdog, and he looked really good in that fight as far as, like, composure, grit, resilience. Like, you feel what I'm saying? He ends up hurting Akhmat Bukoyev with a spinning back fist in round 1. Round 2 starts. He gets dropped. Tresean Gore gets dropped. He's getting beat up, whatever. He wrestles back up to his feet. Shows the toughness right there. Shows the grit. And he ends up finding a high elbow guillotine on Akhmat Bukoyev in, like, round 3. All 3 of his UFC wins are high elbow guillotines. But then before that, he got 30-27 to Rodolfo Vieira. Rodolfo Vieira went 1 for 14 on the takedowns. I understand that. You know what I mean? So Tresean Gore has good takedown defense. Strong calf kicks. You feel what I'm saying? But he's always moving backwards. He's always moving backwards. He's never moving forward enough. And on top of that, the skill level, the resume that he has, is how would I pick that to beat Vicente Luque? His 3 wins in the UFC: Akhmat Bukoyev, Antonio Tricoli, and Josh Frem. Like, what are we talking about? Like, I'm just confused. And then when you go to Vicente Luque, right? He just beat Kelvin Gastelum, okay? Kelvin Gastelum, I think, is better than probably everyone that Tresean Gore's faced. Before that, he faced Joel Alvarez. Like, come on. Do you know what Joel Alvarez would do to Tresean Gore? I don't give a fuck what weight class they decided to fight at. He would finish him in round 1. Like, we just got to keep that in mind. You feel what I'm saying? The level of competition is very different. And Vicente took that beating all 3 rounds. And we have to remember, Joel Alvarez had a 100% finish rate at the time. Vicente Luque is the only one that made it back to tell the story about a Joel Alvarez win. You feel what I'm saying? So I don't think Tresean Gore's on that level. And Vicente was still landing on Joel. Round 1, he was still making it like kind of a dogfight. He was landing a check left hook on Joel. He was landing good timing shots, but then round 2, he kind of got dominated. He pulled guard and then started getting beat up. But, like, you're going to tell me, when you go rewatch that Rodolfo fight, Rodolfo Vieira versus Tresean Gore, you can't tell me that would ever happen to Vicente Luque. Vicente Luque would never get 30-27 to Rodolfo Vieira. That just wouldn't happen. Even if he would lose, it would never be a 30-27. He got outstruck by Rodolfo Vieira, who I'm pretty sure has like 1 KO his whole entire career. Like, I understand Tresean Gore's been looking a lot better lately, like in the Akhmat fight compared to the Rodolfo fight. The problem in the Rodolfo fight, like, he just wasn't on the front foot. He wasn't throwing. He was getting backed up. He was getting outstruck to Rodolfo, but he did a really good job denying takedowns. He made Rodolfo go 1 for 14 on the takedowns in the very next fight. That's where the improvement came from with the Akhmat fight. So I see why people are saying Tresean Gore is improving, but it's not against anybody notable, in my opinion, for him to say that he's going to beat Vicente Luque, because I don't think either of those guys are that good. So in my opinion, I think Vicente Luque is the more skillful fighter. He has dog in him. He times his shots a lot better. He moves forward more. You feel what I'm saying? Like, Tresean Gore doesn't move forward enough. He doesn't do things offensively enough for me to pick him to beat Vicente Luque. And then you got to think, is he really going to high elbow guillotine Vicente Luque? Because that's how all 3 of his UFC wins are. I don't think so. So I just got to go with the guy with miles of UFC experience, way better level of competition. On top of that, if you look at Vicente's losses, let's go to Vicente Luque's losses, right? And you tell me if he fits the caliber of fighters that should be beating Vicente Luque, right? You tell me if he fits this. Joel Alvarez, Kevin Holland, Jaquan Buckley, Jeff Neal, Bilal Muhammad, Wonderboy, and Leon Edwards. Do you think that Tresean Gore is on that level of caliber? Because I don't think so. I think this is a Vicente Luque sub, and if not, he's going to piece up Tresean Gore to a decision. That's all I got to say. Like, I can't justify Tresean Gore beating Vicente Luque. It was kind of like Ramiz Brahimaj versus Neil Magny, but we're talking about Vicente Luque. He's dangerous. You feel what I'm saying? He's actually dangerous. Has power in his hands. Has dangerous submissions off his back. Is a brawler. Will come forward. You feel what I'm saying? Has good timing. Has good check left hooks. I mean, I know last time he got a KO was in 2020 against Randy Brown, but he's still tough. He's still a brawler. And he's still miles ahead of Tresean Gore, in my opinion. So, give me Vicente Luque to win this fight by submission. On to the next. Next up on the card, we got a pretty fun fight. We got Jalen Turner versus Coe Fernandez. I'm pretty sure I'm saying his name right, but Jalen Turner versus Coe Fernandez, right? I feel like this is a straightforward pick for me for some reason. I know a lot of people are going back and forth with this one, and I feel like a lot of people are not, like, taking basics into consideration. Jalen Turner, he's 6'3", he's a lot bigger, a lot taller, a lot rangier, and if you know about Fernandez's game, that's what he bases everything off of. Or not like the rangier guy, but using range management, being bouncy, being on the back, leg kicks, and if you get close, it's throwing from the hips. Like, he's a wild guy. Like, don't get me wrong, Fernandez is a wild guy, but his best attribute comes from being at range. How are you going to be able to be at range against a 6'3" guy who has a massive reach advantage over you? I just feel like his best attribute isn't going to be there. Like, you know what I mean? He's not going to be able to be on the outside. Every time he goes, like, you just see, hey, bro, his film is just, and then you get closer, like, you know what I mean? It's just, a lot of his hands are low, like, and I just feel like Jalen Turner, when you see him, it's teep kicks up the middle. Now it's straights down the pipe. In combination, straight, and then a knee up the middle, like, I don't know. I just feel like Jalen Turner's a lot more dangerous. And I feel like if he loses a fight to a guy that his best weapon are leg kicks, there's no way. There's no way. This is 155. This is the most skillful division in the UFC, and we all know it. There's no way Jalen Turner's going to lose a fight to someone that only throws leg kicks. Because with the hands, I'm not very impressed with Fernandez with the hands. His hands are super low, and like I said, he just throws hooks. If you get close, he'll just throw, and he just, don't get me wrong, he's nasty with it. He'll throw from the hips. You feel what I'm saying? And then mix in the leg kicks. Dangerous, nasty fucking leg kicks. That's what I'm saying. He finished Harry Hardwick with like 10 leg kicks his last fight. And against that Guram guy that he faced before that, destroyed his legs. Nasty head kicks and shit. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of his damage is coming off leg kicks, kicking, but I don't know how that's going to work against a rangier guy. Like, if we're going to have, like, a kickboxing match with Jalen Turner, you're basically going to have a kickboxing match with Jalen Turner. And then you see Jalen Turner's last 5 fights, he's not having a lot of success. That's what the chart looks like. But the chart doesn't show you that he crumbled Moicano to the body in, like, 30 seconds within the fight. 30 seconds within the bell ringing, he crumbled Moicano with a teep kick. Almost finished him. And then later in the round, he fucking cracks Moicano and starts celebrating, thinking he won the fight. Adrenaline dump, comes out, second round, loses that fight. So that's a fight that he literally should win. Like, you should be winning that fight, but your mental lapse, you know what I mean? It's unfortunate. Some people have to be the example of certain moments in life. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate. He had to be the example. And I say it all the time. It's like Patchy Mix. It's unfortunate. Someone that was really good came into the UFC, and now everyone's just saying that's crazy, the biggest fall off ever. he's the example of life. You feel what I'm saying? So is Jalen Turner. You were the example of life that day. Go finish what the fuck you started. Don't celebrate before you won. Simple shit. And then you look at his other 2 losses. Split decision against Hooker. And he blasted Hooker with a nasty head kick in that fight. Blasted him. And you tell me that's Fernandez. I don't know if he's surviving that. That's what I'm saying. Jalen Turner is hurting every single person that he's losing to badly. And on top of that, these are ranked fighters. I know Ignacio subbed him in the first round. Fair play to him. You feel what I'm saying? But Ignacio's still really good. Edson Barboza, his last fight, absolutely destroyed him. That's why I'm not really going over the Edson Barboza fight, his last fight. But he destroyed him. Looked really good in that fight. But Bobby Green, how good does the Bobby Green win look? That's another guy that's a high-level fighter that bases everything he does off of range management. Moving his head, being rangy, moving his feet out the way, making you miss, laughing in your face. You feel what I'm saying? It's kind of the same thing as Fernandez, except Fernandez only throws kicks and Bobby only throws punches. You feel what I'm saying? But they're both range management guys that can be really good at a high level when they got their range and they got the flow state and they can get bouncy and lead on the outside and get dancy, and you know what I mean? Both got their hands down. You see what I'm saying? And what did Jalen Turner do to him? I know Bobby Green's older, but Bobby Green is on a tear right now. The Bobby Green win looks fucking disgustingly good right now. The fuck are we talking about? If Jalen Turner doesn't win this fight, I'm really going to start doubting the 155 division. I think this is a really good matchup for Jalen Turner. You're fighting another guy that's basing everything off range. I know he's a little more lethal than Bobby Green because the leg kicks are your base. So if your base gets fucked, it's done. While Bobby Green is like mostly making you miss and then countering over the top, you feel what I'm saying? It's kind of the same thing, but a little different at the same time. But it's the same fight in some kind of ways. You feel what I'm saying? You're going to have to go get him. Fernandez is going to be on the back foot. Jalen Turner with 100% finish rate is definitely going to be on the front foot looking to get him. I think Jalen Turner can win this fight by KO. So give me Jalen Turner to win this fight by KO. Next up on the card, we got a fight. I always tell you guys there's one a card where I just don't give a fuck about it. And this is one. We got Eric Makhachev versus Donte Johnson. Both of these guys are not the highest level. You feel what I'm saying? And I know exactly how this fight's going to go. It kind of reminds me of Zachary Reese versus Ryan Gondra. Donte Johnson's going to look to come out and take Eric Makhachev's head off in round 1. If it doesn't happen, then look to live play Eric Makhachev after that. That's really all I got for you guys for this one. I'm not going to spend time wasting time. I'm not going to spend time wasting time. So I got Donte Johnson by round 1 KO or Eric Makhachev by decision. But my official pick for the video itself, just for the tracking, I guess we'll do Donte Johnson sucks. I'm doing Eric Makhachev by decision. Only if he survives. Actually, nah. Donte Johnson has 6 KOs. And Eric Makhachev has been knocked out 4 times. Yeah, I'm doing Donte Johnson to control this fight. Either by knockout or just hopefully he carries the power throughout all these rounds. Give me Donte Johnson in this fight. Chidi versus Joel Alvarez, right? I'm going to be picking Joel Alvarez. I feel like he's definitely the more dangerous fighter. Even though Chidi is a Muay Thai striking guy, I do think Joel Alvarez is still the better fighter. He's younger. He's more in his prime. Chidi's 37 years old, coming off 2 straight losses to people that are not on Joel Alvarez's caliber anyways. Carlos Leal is nowhere near on Joel Alvarez's level, in my opinion. Joel Alvarez is coming off a loss against Yaroslav Amosov, who had subbed Neil Magny in round 1, and then he subbed Joel Alvarez. So that guy's an absolute problem. Before that, he was tearing it up. He was tearing it up. And the thing about Joel Alvarez, after he loses, he's known to go on good little runs. So this is the time for the run to start, and it's a favorable matchup in my opinion. You see it. Chidi has holes on the ground. He's been sub 4 times. He only has 1 sub. And Joel Alvarez with that 96% finish rate. And the only time where he didn't get a finish was against Vicente Luque. We had Joel Alvarez up on the safety parlay by finish. Unfortunately, the ref wasn't stopping the fight. And Joel Alvarez ended up knocking Vicente early in round 1. And Vicente thought it was an eye poke. but it was actually a clean shot. And the ref waved the fight off, but some reason restarted the fight and they kept going. But that should be another finish on his resume to keep that 100% finish rate going. And I feel like in this fight, I know Chidi's a little longer, you know what I mean? Chidi's definitely got a little better striking than Vicente Luque, but come on now. This is a Joel Alvarez win. You see the 17 subs, and I know he's not getting these submissions from like being an offensive grappler. It's usually people shooting on him, and then he makes them pay. Chidi's had a few fights where he's shooting. He shot twice on Leal his last fight. You go ahead and do that to fucking Joel Alvarez. You're going to get put in a bad spot. You're going to get tied up. You're going to give up your neck or something. And also in Rhys McKee fight, he shot twice. If he tries to shoot on Joel Alvarez, I don't know how that's going to go. And on the feet, I'm still not sure how that's going to go. So I do respect the odds here. I do think Joel Alvarez gets it done by finish. When you look at a few of Chidi's wins, it's not the highest level of competition. It's not guys that are this technical. It's never guys that are this type of caliber. It's guys like Aleski Dos Santos, Jared Gooden, Rhys McKee, Andre Barriol. You feel what I'm saying? The guys he's losing to, Carlos Leal, Jake Matthews, Michelle Olajaychuk, RoboCop. So, and I fit Joel Alvarez around that level of competition, if not better. So, definitely give me Joel Alvarez to win this fight. And the people that have beat Joel Alvarez, Amaslav, Arman Sarukian, and then in 2019 he lost his UFC debut, but a lot of people lose their UFC debut. Diego Lopes, you feel what I'm saying? Then they come out, fix shit up, and then they go on the run, end up losing a few. Joel Alvarez is one of those guys. I cannot see him losing to Chidi. I feel like he's better everywhere, so give me Joel Alvarez to win this fight by finish. We got Esteban Rivovic versus Edson Barboza. I'm going to be picking Esteban in this fight. If you've been keeping up with my UFC channel on Instagram and shit, you guys know I'm a huge fan of Esteban Rivovic. I've been keeping up with him way before the Nasrat fight, way before all these fights, you know what I mean? And he's just a cardio machine. He's a non-stop forward pressure guy. He does get hit a lot. Don't get me wrong. He does get hit a lot, and it's costed him a few fights. In the Nasrat fight, I think he won that fight, but the look of him getting his head bounced back so much and him getting tagged up so much is why he lost that fight. But damage-wise, he won the fight based off damage. I think he beat Nasrat. He lost his last fight to Cousin Gamrot, where he got subbed in round 2. It's Gamrot, you know what I mean? That's a very high level of competition. I know he just lost to Quillen Salcule. I don't want to hear none of you guys say, Gamrot's not good. Quillen Salcule is another breed of fighter, you feel what I'm saying? Gamrot's still high level competition. And he beat Elvis Brenner, Zell Huber, Terrence McKinney. And we know Terrence McKinney could be a dog in the first round, and he put him to sleep with a nasty head kick, like right on the cage, slapped him and shit. So Esteban can be very dangerous at times, but his power can be the thing that kind of sells him, because you see how much he throws in the cardio and the output, and that just shows that he doesn't have the greatest power. It's kind of like a Max Holloway situation where he's just throwing and throwing and throwing and throwing. And luckily in this fight, I just feel like he doesn't need a lot of power to finish Edson Barboza. I have a lot of respect for Edson Barboza, but he's 40 years old and he's coming off the end side of his career. 3 straight losses, and he's coming off a very, very, very bad KO loss where he was getting beat up early by Jalen Turner, and Jalen Turner fucked him up in round 1. I can see Esteban Rivovic having the same kind of success. I know he's not longer, rangier, and a few of the shots that were landing on Edson Barboza were purely because of Jalen Turner's reach. So, but I do think that with the forward pressure that Edson Barboza likes to fight with, and he likes to get in the pocket, you know Edson's not a bitch. He will come to fight. I just feel like it's not a good style matchup for someone, a young, tough, gritty fighter like Esteban Rivovic. We've seen how you beat Esteban. You need to grapple. And Edson Barboza's not coming in here to grapple. He's coming in here to bang out. And this can be possibly his last fight. He might retire off this. We never know. But I'm taking Esteban Rivovic to win this fight. That cardio, that output, just never stop throwing. And he has a really good, solid chin, Esteban, too. So the grappling's what sold him in a few of these fights. And him getting hit. And I know he gets hit a lot. Okay, obviously we've been saying that. And Edson Barboza can crack. He's a dog. But it's only the durability. Like, you literally see it with Edson Barboza's eye. The shit's ready to shut before the fight even starts. You see it in the picture. His eye's already fucked. He's taking a lot of damage. And yeah, I think this one might seal off his career, so give me Esteban Ribovic to win by KO here. Next up on the card, we got Dustin Stoltzfus versus Mansur Abdulmalik. I'm going to be picking Mansur Abdulmalik in this fight. Dustin Stoltzfus, he's not the greatest fighter when it comes to the UFC. When you look back at some of his losses, just in general, I know he's been in the UFC for a little bit, but he's lost to like Kyle Dawkins, Rodolfo, GM3, Abus Nurmagomedov, Bruno Ferreira, Ruzaboyev, and then his last fight he lost to Kelvin Gastelum. And he's just not having a lot of success in the UFC, and now he has to face a younger fighter that has a whole lot of power. And I understand, like, Dustin Stoltzfus can be extremely tough. I respect Dustin Stoltzfus. I think he's extremely tough. I think he's a hard fight because he's so tough. But he doesn't have the technical skills, and he's not dangerous. You feel what I'm saying? When you compare him, these two danger-wise, you're looking at the chart, you can clearly see that Mansur Abdulmalik is going to be the more athletic, more dangerous guy, younger fighter, more power. But Mansur's coming off a very, very, very bad loss. And the UFC tried to push him too quick. He faced Yusri Bulgaev, or Yusri Bulgari, that Alex Pereira's training partner. And he fucked him up. But there's some things that you can take in to say that, okay, Mansur's a dog. He survived till round 3 getting his ass beat. And I guess that's really the only thing. But Yusri is a tall, lengthy, rangy kickboxer, an elite rangy kickboxer who has wars with Alex Pereira. Dustin Stoltzfus is not that. And Dustin Stoltzfus doesn't have the range or the technical ability or the boxing or the kickboxing or the range. Just anything, the power is just not there. Yusri Bulgari is a really dangerous guy. And I feel like this matchup is going to favor Mansur to get back on track here. That's why he's a big, big favorite. And we've seen Dustin Stoltzfus compromise in round 1 before, where Mansur is going to be looking to do some damage against Bruno Ferreira, the Hulk. And that guy doesn't have any reach. And you put him against someone that's a little faster. I think Mansur's a little faster than someone like Bruno. Probably doesn't have the power, the pure power that Bruno has. But I feel like the power and the athleticism, he's going to be able to get inside and do some real damage to Dustin Stoltzfus. The thing I worry about in this fight, I really worry about this fight because can this be a fraud check? No, it can't be. It can't be, right? Dustin Stoltzfus is like, what, 3-7 in the UFC? This can't be, right? But Dustin Stoltzfus is very tough. So we'll have to see where Mansur's head is after getting rocked for the first time in his career, taking his first L, getting his ass beat up, and now he's coming back. So let's see what he got. But I got Mansur to win this fight. I want to say KO, but I feel like Dustin is super tough. And I do feel like the longer the fight goes, it's going to favor Dustin Stoltzfus. But why am I overthinking this? It should be a KO for Mansur all day. But even if he doesn't get the KO, I'm telling you, he's still going to win the decision. He should still cruise to a decision, be able to piece up Dustin. And there's not a lot of range like Yusri. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of rangy weapons, long, rangy, powerful weapons. So, yeah, definitely give me Mansur in this fight. Try to make this fight a little quicker because we got a females fight here. And honestly, I'm not really too interested in this fight either. But we got Mackenzie Dern versus Gillian Robinson. We know both of these girls are kind of wrestling, grappling, jiu-jitsu nerdish girls. Not really. Like Mackenzie Dern, she does throw with a lot of intent on the feet. Like she has 0 knockouts. Gillian, she has more knockouts, so don't let the chart fool you though. I think Mackenzie Dern is the more powerful, more marching forward type of person. And she's a lot heftier from her body, physique, and everything. So I feel like the power advantage will be on Mackenzie Dern's side. And on top of that, you see Gillian has 9 subs. She wants to get the fight down. She does really good work on top when she gets the fight down. And most of her fights, she's on top. Don't get me wrong. But the problem is, I think Mackenzie Dern's better there too. So that's a problem for Gillian. You know what I mean? I think on the feet, she'll be outclassed with power and just like the more willing to come forward. Who's going to be more willing to come forward? I think it's going to be Dern. And on the ground, we've seen it. Mackenzie Dern's never even been subbed. She has 8 subs. Gillian has been subbed. And also, Gillian is not the best when the fights go to the distance, where Mackenzie does excel at. And on top of that, most of Mackenzie's losses come from decision losses. And you can see clearly from the chart, Gillian Robinson doesn't excel best in decision fights. So you clearly see where I'm going with this. You feel what I'm saying? I think Mackenzie Dern's going to be the pick here. And I feel like I have no choice but to pick Mackenzie Dern here because, one, I feel like if it's a close fight which it could possibly be. These girls have a lot of skill sets to just cancel each other out. You feel what I'm saying? And make it a close fight, back and forth. Oh, now we're digging underhooks and reversing. Oh, now we're kneeing. Oh, now I'm digging and I'm kneeing. It could be one of those fights. Now I'm getting up. Oh, now you're getting up. Now we're both jabbing. You feel what I'm saying? It could be one of those tit-for-tat fights. And I promise you, if it's one of those fights, a close fight, and it goes to a split decision, who are they giving the fight to, guys? Exactly. Don't even sit here and question it. They're going to give the fight to Mackenzie Dern. We all know the UFC has a way more marketable promotion with Mackenzie Dern as the champion. Like, Mackenzie Dern has the skills to win this fight. She has more dog in her. She's better on the ground. She's better if the fight goes the distance. And I feel like she'll be more favored to win this fight if it's a closer fight. So, giving Mackenzie Dern to win this fight. And on top of that, I picked her to win her last fight when she was an underdog against that other girl. I forgot her name, but yeah, if I'm picking her to beat that girl, I'm picking her to beat Gillian Robinson. So, give me Mackenzie Dern to win this fight by decision. I feel like these females are going to come bang it out. They're going to fight hard for this championship. There's a belt on the line. So, we got to assume Gillian Robinson's not here to play. I've seen some of her remarks saying that, oh, Mackenzie's a jiu-jitsu nerd. When she's looking to do submissions, I'm going to be looking to punch on the ground. When she's trying to reverse, I'm going to be looking to punch. I don't know if that's how the fight's going to look. Okay? I can see Mackenzie Dern being on top. Mackenzie Dern getting her up to the cage. Mackenzie Dern coming forward with nasty combinations. Or at least, like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. Give me Mackenzie Dern to win this fight by decision. And for the main event of the evening, we got the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world, Islam Makhachev, defending his belt against Ian Garry, who I think this is the right matchmaking to make. After you've seen the Bilal fight, Ian Garry posted a little Instagram video, and that fucking video went dumb as far as like likes and views and shit. So obviously, as far as promotion goes, this is the fight to make. And I do think Ian Garry deserves it. He's what, like 10-1 in the UFC? His only loss is to Shavkat Rakhmonov. But Shavkat Rakhmonov still hasn't came back from the injury that Ian Garry gave him since that fight. So yeah, Ian Garry lost that fight in a very, very close fight. But Shavkat is still injured till this day. So it's like, Ian's a fucking dog. He's very tall, very technical, very lengthy, very smart, very high IQ, moves well, does everything very well. The only problem is in this matchup is that he's not that dangerous. 47% finish rate is just not going to get it done against Islam Makhachev, in my opinion. The pick has to be Islam. You got a dominant wrestler. And I understand he's coming up from 155. He beat Jack Della Maddalena, right? Why are people not understanding, like, how good that win actually is? I understand Jack Della got fucking KO'd to Carlos Prates, right? If you're going to stand with Carlos Prates, good luck, all right? Good luck. But Gilbert Burns versus Jack Della, did you not see this scrambling ability that Jack Della Maddalena has? He's a good scrambler. He never settles on the bottom position. He's always getting up, always working, always dangerous, always making people work. And Islam completely shut his game down. 4 for 4 on the takedowns. Didn't miss one. Controlled him in the dead center of that ring for the whole entire fight. You feel what I'm saying? Not only that, he was one of the two people ever to sub Money Man. I know Money Man came in on short notice. Okay, subbed him in round 1 like you should do. You want to come in on short notice against the pound-for-pound king and think you're going to take my belt? Here, get subbed in round 1. Fuck is you talking about? Who is Ian doing like that? Ian's not doing people like that. Like, I understand Ian's a good technical striker. He's able to shut down dangerous strikers like Carlos Prates because he was diving at legs. 4 for 19 on the takedowns against Carlos Prates and still almost gassed out because of that. Ian Garry's not supposed to be wrestling at that high level of a clip, but since Carlos Prates is so dangerous, he had no choice but to, and it almost bit him in the ass in that 3rd round. You've seen how gassed he was. You've seen Carlos Prates almost put him away. You feel what I'm saying? And then against Bilal Muhammad, Bilal went 0 for 7 on takedowns. Oh, Bilal couldn't even get a takedown against fucking Gabriel Bonfim. Did he even shoot one? Like, Bilal Muhammad's not even, like, you feel what I'm saying? I know Bilal Muhammad was on a nice little win streak. He beat Leon Edwards. Cool. Leon Edwards not that good. Just got smoked by Carlos Prates. And you guys are the same people saying Earl Smedic would do the same thing. So, Islam is completely doing things that other people haven't done, or beating people or beating fighters in their own game plan. Like, we've seen it. Outboxing Dustin Poirier. And I'm one of those people, I'm going to say the takedown threat is the reason why he was able to outbox Dustin Poirier. If you put those guys in a boxing ring, you know what the fuck's going to happen. But that's how well-rounded Islam is. Able to outbox someone like Dustin Poirier just because the takedown threat. Just because how good he is on the ground. He's going to let his hands go now and be able to outbox people. And I know Islam, I know Ian Gary, he's saying that he's fought, look at the last 5 people I fought, MVP. First of all, Michael Venom Page, there becomes a point. Okay, Michael Venom Page, he can be one of the better strikers in the division. Danger-wise, he's not. But striking-wise, cerebral-wise, like IQ-wise, yeah, he's really good. But isn't that the same guy that landed 5 total strikes against Sam Patterson in round 1? The striking total was 5-3 against Sam Patterson. Come on. Like, come on. Islam's not here to point fight. Islam is a real dog, and we've seen it in multiple fights. We've seen it in the Poirier fight. We've seen him put away Money Man Moicano like nothing. We've seen him just trash Jack Della Maddalena, and I thought Jack was a bigger guy with better boxing and more scrambling than Dustin. I thought that was the case. So, I respect Ian Gary a lot. I do think Ian Gary is one of the better fighters. It's probably the best fighter in that division after Islam. It's unfortunate, though, that Islam moved up, because Ian Gary is that guy. I think Ian Gary's really good. What he did to Carlos Prates, outstriking Carlos Prates, mixing in the takedowns. And it's not just mixing the takedowns. He was lighting Carlos Prates up. If you've seen Carlos Prates' face after the Ian Gary fight, lumped up. Ian Gary's a good technical striker, has good striking, but he's not dangerous enough to make someone like Islam pay. Maybe he'll be able to set up some traps, some knees up the middle of Islam's, but I don't know. If he gets Ian Gary down in the middle of the octagon, it's going to be very, very hard to get up. You've seen it in the Jack Della Maddalena fight. I'm just not sure that Ian Gary poses enough threats for Islam Makhachev. Like, Islam landed more strikes on Dustin Poirier than Ian Gary did on Bilal. And Bilal couldn't even get a takedown. So you would expect Ian Gary to be able to just tee off, make him pay, pow, 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 which he was kind of doing. But just the fact of thinking that Islam landed more on Dustin than Ian did on Bilal shows you the killer instinct. Ian Gary doesn't have the killer instinct like Islam. If Bilal would shoot 0 for 7 shots on Islam Makhachev, Islam would go get him and finish him. It would not be a decision win. I think the killer instinct that Islam has, the wrestling, the pressure, and he's a well-rounded striker. I know he's at a disadvantage in the reach, which is going to be a problem, but I think the wrestling is good enough just because Ian Gary isn't dangerous enough. Yeah, you can be lengthy, you can be running around the cage and shit. That's against strikers. What happened against Shavkat Rakhmonov? You lost that fight because of the wrestling, because of you trying to reverse positions and trying to do all this fancy shit. It backfired. You feel what I'm saying? And I understand he took that fight on short notice. Ian Gary took all those fights on short notice. He took the Carlos Prates fight on short notice. He took the Shavkat fight on short notice, which is why I fuck with Ian Gary in the ring. All right? Now, I don't, all that bullshit he's talking about, the girl should run the world. No, I don't agree with none of that. But inside the ring, Ian Gary is a real problem. And I do respect his wins. MVP is a good win. And I understand why a lot of people think that Ian Gary's going to win this fight. When you go back to Volkanovski, like years ago, Islam didn't win that fight. If you look at, like, Islam didn't win that fight, all right? It was a very, very close fight, but I still would have gave it to Volk. Now, if you put someone that is literally kind of the same fighter as Volk, has the movement, has the striking, has the long-range ability to stay on the outside and make you miss and make you pay, and can mix in takedowns, and he's longer and rangier, and I guess he's more dangerous because of that, then I understand why people are saying Ian Gary's going to win this fight, but just seeing what he's doing to Jack Della Maddalena, seeing what he's doing to Money Man, seeing what he did to Dustin Poirier, he is another breed of fighter. And this is his time, in my opinion. I know everyone's going to end up falling eventually. But I'm going to go Islam Makhachev to get it done. Number 1 pound-for-pound fighter for a reason. Give me Islam Makhachev to win this fight by decision. I don't know if he'll be subbing Ian Gary. Give me Islam Makhachev to win this fight. All respect to Ian Gary for taking all these fights on short notice and fighting Shavkat Rakhmonov, and still Shavkat's out till this day, hasn't came back to tell any story about Ian Gary. So obviously Ian Gary's a very dangerous guy. He's a very, very dangerous guy, but the finish rate doesn't show for it because he's not finishing people. Do you feel what I'm saying? He's a dangerous guy, but he's not finishing people, and that's why I'm going to favor Islam in this fight to get the wrestling exchanges going, to take more chances than Ian Gary will. He's a better dog than Ian Gary is. I know if push comes to shove, you've seen how he looked in that last round against Carlos Prates. We haven't seen Islam look like that. Like, yeah, in the Volkanovski fight, Volkanovski's one of the best fighters in the UFC ever to step in the UFC. He had Islam compromised, looking a little shaky in that fight. But the danger aspect of everything is why I'm going to take Islam Makhachev once again. So give me Islam by decision.